So we will start with the first presentation from Thomas Behar on how actuaries have been using AI in the context of the industry and CNP. So Thomas, please, the floor is yours.
Merci, thank you. So, buongiorno, good morning everyone, it's impressive. So, I will speak about the impact, I will speak about impact of AA from an industry point of view and how we are developing artificial intelligence inside the CNP with all the actuaries. First of all, I've set up some point about me. So I'm Deputy CEO of the group CNP and CFO. CNP is present in Latin America and Europe, so we are number 3 in Brazil and number 5 in Europe, and by the set of assets, we are number 16 in the world. So quite a big company, but located in very specific countries. So I'm Actuaries. I was in the past chair of the Institut des Actuaires in France and of AAE. And I'm chairing the international department of Institut des Actuaires. I will not speak a lot about Institut des Actuaires, AAE, and so on. I will speak a little bit more on CNP Assurance, just to show how things are going, where we are. So I had already done some presentation about that in the past. And so I explain how actuaries are playing a job in these matters. What is really important is how actuaries are change their jobs inside CNP Assurance. So they are at the core of implementing artificial intelligence, not only for themselves, but for the company, in all its fields inside the company. So we are getting back to a way where actuaries are the engineer of the insurance company, and not only the people who can do valuations. So that's the way we are using artificial intelligence. So you have some numbers about CNP Assurance in these slides, so with the profits, SCR, and so on. And all what we are proud is about the impacts that we are doing to the planet with the Green Investment and Gender Equality Index, where we have very good position. So that's CNP Assurance. I will explain that, which is not the aim of the speak. So what we are and how we deploy, where we can deploy artificial intelligence. Let's go now to something more interesting to my speech, is how we use artificial intelligence today in real inside an insurance company. So we have developed all along the chain value artificial intelligence, and it's something which is evolving. So we have always started on some points, and it's something which is growing in each of the different matters of artificial intelligence. So on the right, you have the first point where we used artificial intelligence. It was machine learning matters, where we have one difficulty is to find how many dead people we have along our portfolio. And one difficulty with these persons is that when you have millions of people, some of them in their life have sometimes miswritten their birth date, or their name had changed. And there is a lot of people in 50 years or 60 years where the name has changed. One letter disappeared, one letter has been changed in the way they have written between their birth name and what they wrote some years ago inside the insurance contract. So just an example of a change of one letter. So if you do classical interaction between database you can't find. And with machine learning, simply, I've done some scoring just with all 3 linked letters between both on the left and on the right. So if you add all 3 letters, it's a lot of different variables. So GEA on both sides, EAN, AND, and so on. And where you have a maximum score, perhaps it can be the same person. And we found 10,000 of dead people with this way. And so it's something which is still in practice. Every month, we compare database using this algorithm. So it was created through machine learning, but the idea of the scoring was done by actuaries just to find the right way to get scoring, and there was a lot of improvements. So it was some years ago that we created that, and now you can see on all the chain value, distribution, underwriting, operations, risk management, claims, you have actuaries who have found machine learning and others artificial intelligence matters to help and improve the value creation of the company by implementing algorithm. So I will take some of them. First is targeting, so it's to help in marketing, to find people who are eager to buy a product. Usually they even have no products, and with this data science, we decrease by 8 the number of people to reach to do the commercial campaign. So it's only by screening, and with machine learning matters, we help to target. Where we are, so it's something which is not new, at some years. Where we are now, so now we have improved this algorithm by generative AI. So now we are adding not only please meet this guy, but also we are telling to the commercial network why you should meet. And it's the generative AI, artificial intelligence which help to explain in natural language why the commercial it can be a good idea to meet this person. Underwriting is also some usual scoring, is how to have the quickest possible underwriting processes. And if at the end you say yes, if it can go quickly, 30 seconds and not 3 days, it's better for selling. If you say no, you need a human to say no. And you need a lot of different persons just to act. The fact that we will not underwrite a contract with a person. So we have done some scoring just to improve and to replace, in fact, human, just to say yes, which saying no is different. But to say yes, at the end, you can do it quickly. Operations is how to automate all what we can with the interaction with the policyholder to replace bureaucracy work with human interaction with the policyholder. So all what we can, we are trying to automatize interactions and with self-care, just placing the documents, using the email from the persons and going directly to the database without human interventions. So it's what we are. And why actuaries are good for that? It's because we understand the business. So it's, we are able to translate the needs of the policyholders, of the different business units to practical market implications. Just good knowing about what's going on. And all of that is made with some machine learnings and so on. Risk management is the same, and we have done also things, what we have seen on the right, which is finding the dead. We are doing the same in accounting. So we have 2 databases, how to increase the link between the database. without using many different processors, just with machine learning and just to mix. So it's the same principle that we have done with accounting. Also, claims, you have in France, in a life insurance contract, you have always some writings, people saying, I want to give after my death the capital to a person and so on. Some of them are not very well written, and just to interact, to read them with machine learning and so on, and being able to explain to the commercial networks, please go and see the person before his death, just to decrease the cost of finding the beneficiaries of the contract after the death, and just to make sure that for the guy, the money will go directly to the right person. So it's really engineering from actuaries in the different places of the chain value of the insurance. Now, the main question is, and for the actuary themselves, so how we can use that? So we have seen here, during these days, a lot of different formulas, how to improve reserving methods with a combination between our older actual techniques with machine learnings and other deep learnings and other matters. Clearly, it's still not yet implemented in real life inside our company. It will come. But first, it's more how to eliminate what represents less added value where we are today in using that matters. So one of the points that will come shortly is how to help controlling data. Data from the systems, data we receive from subsidiaries, calculation done from actuaries from the subsidiaries, and for other teams inside CNP is one target that we have today. The second point, and it can decrease the cost for Solvency II, for IFRS 17, controlling the numbers, and even in short timing. The second point that we have is about predicting. You all know that with IFRS 17, it's more difficult to predict what will be the net profit after the end of the year. So even if it's more difficult, there is a lot of sensitivities. Some of them are correlated, where we need to improve for the shareholders and so on, what prediction we have, what estimation will we have, and it will be the second point where all the attention is needed. On the next slide is more what we are using as techniques. So you have 4 different kinds of techniques. So computer vision and OCR to get good recognition. So robotic is more on IT and less for actuaries. You have machine learning and self-learning predictive algorithm. And you have natural language interpretation and speech recognition. So things that we are using, especially for self-learning for call center, just analyzing what has been done with the policyholder in the call, and so with different ways of looking at that from a compliance point of view, a sale point of view, or just analyzing what has been done during the calls. So just is to reinforce to the people who are working. We are in the full process of generative AI, which is an additional matter to this slide. Actuaries have screened all the different solutions, and clearly today it's very hard to use itself generative intelligence because you have a huge rate of hallucination. Meaning that with a lot of assertivity, the tools send wrong answers. And so what we found is that we need to mix classical AI tool, such as deep learning or machine learning, with generative AI. And generative AI help to interpret and to explain what classical AI has done. So at this stage, but it will improve, it's what we have. Of course, shortly, it will increase what already IT guys are doing, is using IA to write codes. So it will come, but we are not at this stage. And of course, we will use all the formulas that have been developed to also enhance reserving, but it's not yet the case. So it's something which is evolve and goes quickly. So we created that in 2016, implemented that first with this finding the dead people. So what I've presented in the first slide. We have worked to industrialize that quickly with IT, meaning that one model implemented should cost less than 75 kilo euro. So it's something very limited when you compare the cost of that to developing with usual IT tools. So something which is very quick, 3 months, and efficient in cost. So it's APIization of all the models working closely with the ITs. We are in a process now, after, and I will speak just after about ethics, of increasing the way people are using IA. So now it's time for us to go to scaling, how we can deploy in a more, on the chain value, in a more bigger way than today. On ethics, so we have a model which is on 4 parts. So business, data lab with actuaries, who are also data scientists, IT, which is a digital factory, and ethics of artificial intelligence. What we did is to ask the actual function, where you have also actuaries, to take this ethics function. Meaning that we thought that it was better placed in the actual function than in the compliance function, because you have actuaries who are able to understand algorithm, and which is a little bit higher than in the usual compliance function. And so, of course, they are sharing that with DPO, with compliance function, with risk function. But it's the job of the actual function to develop this ethics. And where we are now, so you all know that IA Act is coming into place inside the law. They have developed a decision tree to see how IA Act will impact us. Clearly, there is a key that I would like to share about IA Act. We have looked closely to that, so in a lot of matter, if you look too quickly, a lot of what we are doing depends on IA Act, but if you look more closely, there is one point that we all know which is important, is that you learn and you apply. And if you have the 2 different steps, you learn from data and you apply to other data with a human between both, you escape IA Act. So it's really important, and it's on the decision tree. So if all we have always done to do underwriting, tarification, premium rating is you have a set where you learn and a set where you apply, you escape IA Act. So this one perhaps I will leave. It's the way we work to improve with all the function on algorithm, prioritizing the project, applying them, and with an ethic control and the monitoring of the control. One other point which is key for ethics is the performance, because it changed a lot. If the performance is at 60%, or if the performance of the algorithm is at 99.9%. And it is really important for actuaries to measure the performance of the algorithm. Sometimes you buy something external, but the performance is very low, and using that to get to a decision is something that matters really. So this one is, we go more deeply in what is our ethics policy that has been developed by the actual function. So, of course, we place protection and privacy at the heart of concerns, principle 1. We ensure transparency in the way we use our IA tools. We ensure the fairness of the IA tools, so they look about if there is any form of bias or discrimination. And the performance is important in that way, and choosing the right features is important. We use IA tools responsibly, including by checking their reliability, fairness, and impact. It's also a question of measuring the performance of the algorithm. And of course, we are all using that to get to more added value work of the people of the company. So just to use that to reinforce what we are doing and to go to the value which is more human than automatic in the way we are coding. So helping people and not doing bureaucracy is the way we are trying to go. If we now, to conclude the slides to the last one, is we compared 3 different ways of looking about ethics of the key principles. So we look at AAE, our own CNP ethical principles, and ChatGPT, which is the last one. And we found that a lot of words are quite similar. So you call it fairness or integrity, communication or transparency, safety or accountability or impartiality, compliance or privacy, human oversight or professional judgments. So it's some matters where you have different ways, but I think it's evolving in a right direction in the way we have this ethics, and having AI developing this principle of ethics is really important, and applying them to artificial intelligence is something that really matters. We all know that there was also the International Actuarial Association who is doing also thinkings about that with a task force, and it will be important really to liaise and not only to do it for our own, but have some communication externally about that, having our voice heard about that. All this matter is, just to conclude, evolving quite quickly, and I think it's really important for actuaries to adapt, to integrate, and to really look at what is the value proposal of the actual function toward artificial intelligence. So just also to reinvent our world, where part of it is disappearing because we are automatizing a lot of things we were used to do, and just reinvent what is the use of actuaries for an insurance company. And so it's the thoughts that we had and why we are here at this stage inside CNP Assurance. So thank you for listening to me, and I'm open to any questions in the 2 minutes we have.
Thank you, Thomas. If you have any questions, we have time for a couple of questions. Please come to the microphone on your left here. I'll just show you. If you have questions, please go and come to the microphone to ask your question. I have one question for you, Thomas. You mentioned that you moved the bureaucratic work to machines and the human work for humans. And I have a question on how do you reassure the humans about the future, that they will not be replaced by the machine? So how do you tell them you are going to become a superhuman using the machine and you're not going to be taken over by the machines?
Yeah, thank you, Christophe. Trade unions are saying the same question as you, in fact, in the company. But all the difficulty is how for all the staff you accompany them to get from an older job to a new job. And it applies exactly for actuaries. We have to evolve, and we have to help them to evolve. So it means that you can't change everything in one day. So you have to go from step by step. It's what we are doing to evolve and to show that it's helping people. And you will have to do for your teams as actuaries, just to accompany them and be present, have all the education to meet the challenges of their work.
Hello. Thanks a lot for your very insightful presentation and a lot of food for thought. I have two quick questions. The first one is, you mentioned a business case around customer marketing, targeting, optimizing, pricing. The question is, can you articulate a little bit more around that, particularly how you get optimizing pricing compliant with the AI Act? And the second question is really yes and no, if is most of your activity in-house, or do you also use, say, third-party tech companies or consultants for developing your use cases? Thanks.
Yeah. On the first question, clearly, you must not discriminate. So a claims ratio only depending, a claim adapting the pricing to some claims ratio only based on machine learning is not possible. You must have some evidence to get to the right pricing. So we are not adapting the pricing to the persons, or the discussion of the price to a machine interaction. I discount your price due to a lot of different manners. What we are doing is to help the commercial network just to sell. Just only that, reducing the pricing, cost of acquisition of customer to using for the use of machine learning. So that's the main point. So we are not building on elasticity or other matters. And as I said, due to AI Act, you must really read it as this. We have a split between I prepare the algorithm on data, I apply it on other data, and there is always a human between both. And after, it's not the algorithm is not learning by itself, it has learned in the first part. So it's really important for IA. For coding, we use consultants. But ideas are actuaries' ideas. And looking at the performance, controlling is for actuaries, data scientists who are actuaries. But on simply coding, something that will get more and more automatized is externalized in a lot of matter.
Thank you. Maria?
Maria?
So, Thomas, I am very happy that you have shared with us the journey your company went in this implementation of AI, and really congratulations to that. It sounds like a successful story. I would like to ask you to share with us maybe some tangible examples what we shall understand this AI ethical actuary really do in day-to-day life. You know, what is the scope of their work? Yeah, so just
clearly, we can't use an algorithm in the company if the actual function has not said yes. So it's really day-to-day. So if we use an algorithm, the actual function must have said yes to the algorithm. And so there is different controls that are shown to the actual function to say that if on the principles are respected or not respected. So I show you the principles. And so you have different controls, different proof that the data scientists have to show to the actual function to get a yes.
So I was really looking forward to hear that, but really to give a proof and to really kind of create a report and kind of evidence that what these algorithms are doing are really fulfilling this, our ethical code of conduct standards. Yeah, thank you.
And the actual function report to the board. In this actual function report, Solvency II, I use that also for IFRS 17 and CETICS to show that everything is clean in the company. Thank you.
So again, thank you very much, Thomas, for the very interesting presentation.
Thank you.